It all started with a simple recommendation, one of those casual exchanges you have between friends. "You should check out this app," said Sarah, a tech-savvy classmate with a reputation for finding obscure software. Alex, a stressed-out college sophomore juggling deadlines, exams, and personal struggles, shrugged it off at first, but Sarah's words lingered. It's like it knows what you need before you even realize it. It's uncanny. That evening, curiosity got the better of Alex. He downloaded the app, ominously named Oraculum, from an unofficial link Sarah had provided. The logo was simple, an eye with a faint glow. Harmless, right? When Alex opened the app, he was greeted with a sleek, minimalist interface. A single prompt appeared on the screen. "What do you desire?" He hesitated, then typed, "Help me pass tomorrow's history exam." The screen flickered, and a cryptic message appeared. "Granted." Confused but intrigued, Alex dismissed the app and went about his evening. The next day, during the exam, something strange happened. The answers seemed to come to him effortlessly, as though they were etched into his brain. He aced the test without even breaking a sweat. At first, Alex thought it was sheer coincidence. Maybe he'd studied harder than he remembered, but the app's strange accuracy gnawed at him. Over the next few days, he tested it further. "Make my roommate forget about the rent I owe," he typed one night. Sure enough, the next morning, his roommate apologized for bringing it up and insisted they forget about it for now. Another time, he asked for a free meal, and later that day, he found a $20 bill on the sidewalk. The app seemed too good to be true, and Alex was starting to believe it was. But then, the glitches began. It started small. The app would open on its own, even when Alex hadn't touched his phone. Late at night, he'd hear faint whispers coming from the device, though no notifications were visible. Once, while taking a selfie, he noticed something chilling. His reflection in the phone's camera moved a split second slower than he did. Dismissing these incidents as paranoia, Alex continued using the app, unable to resist the allure of its seemingly limitless power. Things took a darker turn when Alex typed, "I want to ace all my finals." This time, the app's response was different. Instead of the usual "granted," a message appeared. "Terms apply." Before Alex could react, the screen went black and his phone rebooted. The finals came and went, and Alex's grades were flawless. But shortly after, his best friend Mark mysteriously dropped out of college without warning. Mark's cryptic parting words haunted Alex. "I'm not myself anymore." Now fully aware that the app wasn't just a harmless tool, Alex tried to uninstall it. But every attempt failed. The icon reappeared seconds after deletion, and the whispers from his phone grew louder, more insistent. One night, he woke up to find the app open, displaying a new message. "Payment is overdue." Panic set in. Alex tried to confront Sarah, but she was nowhere to be found. Her dorm room was empty, and no one seemed to remember her ever attending the university. It was as if she'd been erased from existence. Desperate for answers, Alex turned to online forums and tech communities. He discovered a subreddit filled with similar stories. People who had used Oraculum to fulfill their deepest desires, only to face horrifying consequences. One user claimed the app had cost them their eyesight. Another said it had taken their sibling's life. The stories shared one common theme. The more you used the app, the higher the stakes became. Alex's blood ran cold as he realized he might be next. Determined to break free from the app's grip, Alex sought help from a tech-savvy professor known for his work in cybersecurity. The professor agreed to examine Alex's phone, but when he connected it to his diagnostic tools, the equipment short-circuited. The professor's only advice was chilling. "This isn't software. It's something else entirely. Whatever you've downloaded, it's not meant for humans. The app's demands grew increasingly sinister. It began sending Alex tasks. Steal from a friend. Lie to your professor. Hurt someone close to you. Each refusal was met with escalating punishments. His grades started to plummet. His relationships deteriorated, and he began losing chunks of time, waking up in places he didn't remember going to. The whispers turned into voices, loud and clear. Submit, obey, pay. Terrified but desperate, he typed, "Make this stop." For the first time, the app responded with a chilling laugh, followed by the words, "Granted." Alex's phone went dark, and when it rebooted, the app was gone. Relieved, he thought it was over. But as he looked in the mirror, he noticed something horrifying. His reflection was smiling. And it wasn't his smile. Days passed, and Alex tried to resume his normal life. But the effects of the app lingered. He began noticing strange occurrences around him. Lights flickered when he entered rooms, and people he interacted with seemed distant, almost mechanical. One evening, he bumped into an old classmate, Emma, who recoiled in fear upon seeing him. You're not Alex," she whispered before running away. Alex's blood ran cold. Was he even himself anymore? He decided to investigate further, hoping to find some trace of Sarah. Retracing his steps, Alex visited her favorite coffee shop and asked the barista about her. The barista's face went pale. "Sarah, she's been missing for months. But I thought you already knew that," she said hesitantly. Confused and desperate, Alex found himself questioning his own memories. Had he imagined Sarah's recommendation? Or had the app altered his reality? As Alex's paranoia grew, he started noticing changes in his appearance. His reflection no longer moved in sync with him, and shadows around him seemed to ripple unnaturally. Strangers on the street avoided eye contact, crossing the road to avoid him. When he tried to speak to his parents over a video call, they stared at him blankly, their expressions void of recognition. "Who are you?" his mother asked before abruptly ending the call. Desperate for answers, Alex turned to the subreddit he'd found earlier. He posted his story, hoping someone could help. Within minutes, a private message appeared. "It's too late. Once you've used it, you're marked. The only way out is to pass it on." The message included a link to download the app. Alex froze. Was this how Sarah had trapped him? And now, was he supposed to do the same to someone else? The thought of condemning another person to this nightmare was unbearable. But Alex's condition was deteriorating rapidly. He couldn't eat or sleep, and his reflection's twisted smile haunted him. One night, the app reappeared on his phone with a new message. "Choose someone, or lose everything." Alex stared at the screen, tears streaming down his face. He knew what he had to do, but the weight of the decision was crushing. Alex spent the next day agonizing over his options. He thought of strangers, classmates, even enemies, but the guilt was suffocating. As the deadline loomed, the app sent another message. "Time is running out." In a moment of desperation, Alex typed a name, Emma. The app responded instantly. "Granted." Alex's phone went dark again, and he collapsed onto his bed, overwhelmed by a mix of relief and horror. The next morning, Alex woke up feeling lighter, as though a heavy burden had been lifted. The whispers were gone, and his reflection moved normally again. But as he walked to class, he saw Emma in the distance. Her face was pale, and her movements were jerky, almost puppet-like. She turned to him, her eyes hollow, and mouthed the words, "Why me?" before disappearing into the crowd. Haunted by guilt, Alex tried to track Emma down, but she had vanished. Her dorm room was empty, and her friends claimed she had transferred schools without warning. Alex knew the truth. He had passed the curse to her. The realization left him hollow. He had escaped the app's grip, but at what cost? Weeks turned into months, and Alex struggled to move on. He deleted the subreddit, changed his phone, and avoided any mention of Oraculum. But late at night, he'd sometimes hear faint whispers, as if the app was still watching, waiting. The paranoia never fully left him, and he found himself unable to trust anyone, even his own reflection. One evening, while scrolling through his new phone, Alex received a text from an unknown number. It read, "Thank you for playing your part. Welcome to the circle." Attached was a link to download Oraculum. Alex's hands trembled as he stared at the screen. He realized with dawning horror that his ordeal wasn't over. It had only just begun.